My son, stop everything at this moment. What you are about to hear is no coincidence. It is direct, divine intervention in your life. At this very moment, as my words penetrate your ears and reach your heart, a massive movement is taking place in the heavenly courts. Your case, the one that has been under review for so long, that process that seemed to have no end, has just received its final seal. The divine gavel has fallen, the sentence has been handed down, and the decree has come down with the force of eternal law that nothing can reverse. There is no more discussion about your situation, no more maybes or we'll sees. The time of waiting is over. The period of analysis is over. What you have tearfully requested for the past few months, the past few years, perhaps even decades, has been sealed on my throne with irrevocable power. The angels responsible for your case have received their marching orders. They have already traversed the heavenly realms, carrying documents with your name, written in letters of fire. They do not come empty-handed. They bring healing if you are sick. They bring provision if you are lacking. They bring peace if you are tormented. They bring restoration if you are broken. And nothing, listen carefully to these words, absolutely nothing in heaven, on earth, or under the earth can intercept what I have already authorized. When I decree, the universe bows. When I command, all creation obeys. And today I have decreed over your life. Today I have ordained over your situation. Today the impossible has become possible because I so decreed. I know you're tired. I feel the weight you carry on your shoulders. I see the nights you spent awake, anguished, wondering if I still care. Your every sigh reached my ears. Your every tear was collected and stored in heavenly vessels. Nothing you've experienced has gone unnoticed before my eyes. And today, the moment I set aside to change everything has arrived. Don't turn off this video yet. Don't turn away from these words. Because if you leave now, you might miss the exact moment my glory reaches you. You might miss the precise moment the miracle bearing your name walks through your door. Stay, take a deep breath, and receive what I have already prepared for you. This night is no ordinary night. This night was marked on the celestial calendar. This night was set apart from the foundation of the world to be your night of miracle. Heaven is moving in your favor right now. The angelic hosts are positioned, resources are being released, doors are being opened, and all this happens as you listen to my voice. Do you feel something different within you now? A peace you can't explain? A certainty that doesn't come from logic? A hope that doesn't originate in your thoughts? This isn't empty emotion, it's confirmation. It's my spirit bearing witness to your spirit that what I say is true. It's my presence enveloping you, preparing you to receive what's coming down. Go to the comments now and write, "I receive my miracle." This statement activates your faith and seals the heavenly decree in your life. The time for regret is over. The time for shame is over. The time for feeling forgotten has come to an end. Because I never forgot you, not for a second. Every day of your waiting was counted by me. Every moment of your trial was watched by my eyes. And now that the time is complete, now that everything is aligned, I release upon you what was kept. I release the blessing that was reserved. I release the miracle that bears your name. I know why you've come this far. I know this illness that robs you of sleep, that makes you wake up in the middle of the night in pain, that reminds you every moment that something isn't right with your body. I see this financial situation that suffocates you, this bill due tomorrow and you don't know how to pay, this overdue rent that embarrasses you, this debt that grows and seems endless. I feel this pain in your heart for that. A person who no longer speaks to you, for that child who has moved away, for that marriage that has grown cold, for that friendship that has broken down. I saw you crying alone when no one else was watching. I heard your whispered prayers in the early hours of the morning, those words broken by pain, those pleas you couldn't even formulate properly because the anguish was so great. I felt every moment of despair you went through, every moment you thought you couldn't make it through another day, every second when the urge to give up almost overcame the will to keep going. Your every tear is held in my hands. Your every sigh has reached my ears. My eyes have watched over every sleepless night. Nothing you've experienced has gone unnoticed. Nothing you've felt has been ignored. Nothing you've asked for has been forgotten. For I am the Father who is always attentive to the groans of his children. I am the God who never sleeps, who never tires, who never ceases to care for those who are his. And I tell you today, with all the authority I possess, it was not in vain. Nothing you went through was wasted. Nothing you suffered was without purpose. Every night of anguish was a seed planted. Every moment of pain was preparation for the miracle. Every tear shed watered the soil where your harvest will now sprout. For I am the God who transforms pain into power, who converts tears into testimony, who turns mourning into joy. Today is the day everything changes. Today is the moment the scales tip. Today is the hour when the impossible becomes possible. Not because you earned it, not because you finally became worthy, but because I decided, because the time I set for you has arrived, because the period I set for your test has completed. And now that everything is ready, now that every piece is in place, I release upon you what was kept hidden. Share this message now with someone who is also suffering. When you bring hope to others, I multiply your own miracle. This is not another empty promise among so many you've heard. This is not another motivational speech that will fill you with hope for a few hours and then everything will go back to normal. This is a heavenly decree. This is a judicial sentence handed down in the courts of heaven. This is an executive order issued from the throne of the universe. And when I decree, no force in heaven or on earth can prevent its fulfillment. What was impossible according to medicine, I make possible. What was unfeasible according to mathematics, I resolve. What was lost according to human logic, I restore. Because I do not operate according to natural laws. I am the supernatural God who created the laws themselves and have the authority to suspend them when I decide to intervene in the life of one of my children. So lift your head, dry those tears, take a deep breath, because the time for crying is over, the time for victory has begun, the time for miracles has arrived. And nothing, absolutely nothing, will be able to steal from you what I have already determined is yours. This is no longer an empty promise. This is a heavenly decree. Your case has been tried in the courts of heaven, and the sentence is victory. The sentence is healing. The sentence is provision. The sentence is restoration. And it happens tonight, not tomorrow. Not next week, not when circumstances improve. Tonight, while the world sleeps, heaven works. While all seems silent, there is a powerful movement taking place on your behalf. Doors that have been locked for years are now gently opening. That door of opportunity you tried so many times and failed to open now yields to my authority. That door of relationships that seemed sealed forever now opens. That financial door that was blocked now opens. Because when I command a door to open, no man can close it, no circumstance can stop it, no power in darkness can lock it again. The resources you needed are being released from unexpected places. Money you didn't know was coming is coming. Help you didn't expect is coming. Provisions you couldn't imagine where they would come from are being mobilized right now. I have 1,000 ways to provide that you don't know about. I have sources of supply that your limited mind can't even conceive of. And today, I've chosen to use some of those sources to reach you. Sanity is flowing into your body now. It's not suggestion. It's not wishful thinking. It's real, tangible, supernatural power. Every cell in your body is being touched by my healing power right now. Every malfunctioning organ is receiving divine adjustment. Every compromised system is being restored. Because I am the God who created your body, and I know every detail of its structure. I know exactly what needs fixing, and I have absolute power to fix it. Peace is entering your mind right now. That anxiety that tormented you is being driven away. Those obsessive thoughts that haunted you are being silenced. That fear that paralyzed you is being removed. For I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And in this moment, I restore to you what is rightfully yours. I restore peace. I restore balance. I restore mental clarity. Leave your like now as your amen to this decree, and subscribe to this channel, because I have much more to reveal to you in the coming days. Do you feel this presence enveloping you? Do you feel this warmth in your chest? Do you feel this inexplicable certainty growing within you? It's not imagination, it's my spirit confirming to your spirit that what I say is true. It's the inner witness that never fails. It's the soft voice that echoes deep within you saying, "This is real, this is happening, this is for me." The miracle that bears your name has already left the heavenly storehouse. It has already traversed the spiritual dimensions. It has already entered your geographic territory. And now it rapidly approaches the door of your home. It does not come alone, it comes accompanied by powerful angels. It comes enveloped in glory. It comes laden with everything you need, and there is no demon that can intercept it, no circumstance that can delay it, no obstacle that can block it, because when I send something from heaven with my royal seal, it arrives at its destination, always, without fail, without delay, without diminution. It arrives complete. It arrives on time. It arrives exactly as I planned. And what I have planned for you is greater than you asked. It is better than you imagined. It is more abundant than you dreamed. So prepare yourself, open your heart, stretch out your spiritual hands, because what is descending from heaven tonight will transform your life so radically that you won't recognize yourself in a few days. Your story is changing now. Your destiny is being rewritten right now, and nothing will ever be the same again. Let me show you what's happening right now in the world you don't see. There's a reality beyond your natural eyes. There's a dimension that operates simultaneously with your physical life. And in that dimension, at this very moment, there's a massive movement happening specifically because of you. The heavenly courts have issued documents, the files have been updated, and what was previously listed as a pending case now appears as a resolved case. In the spiritual realm, my angels have received marching orders. These are not generic angels. They are the angels specifically assigned to your life since the day you were born. Each person has guardian angels. But beyond these, there are angels specialized in specific areas. Angels of provision, angels of healing, angels of protection, angels who open doors. And all of them, absolutely all of them, have just received the same order: mobilize now on behalf of my son, my daughter. They carry heavenly documents with your name written on them. They do not come empty-handed. If you need healing, they bring heavenly medicine that no earthly laboratory can produce. If you need money, they bring supernatural provision that does not depend on human finances. If you need peace, they bring the sacred oil that calms every inner storm. If you need wisdom, they bring revelation direct from the throne. Each angel carries exactly what you need. As they descend through the spiritual dimensions, something simultaneously happens in the natural world. Circumstances begin to align in ways that will seem coincidental, but are not. That person who can help you is being touched by me right now without knowing why. Suddenly they will think of you. Suddenly they will feel the urge to call you. Suddenly they will make a decision that will benefit you. And they themselves will not understand where that thought, that impulse, that decision came from. That resource that was blocked is now being released. Paperwork that was stalled begins to move. Processes that were stalled begin to flow. People who needed to sign something feel the urgency to do so. All without you lifting a finger, all without you pressuring anyone. Because when I move the natural world, I do so from the inside out. I touch people's hearts. I influence decisions. I create situations. That door that had been locked for years is no longer locked. The lock gave way. The internal mechanism was unlocked. And now, the door swings smoothly on its hinges. You won't even need to force it. A light touch will suffice, and it will swing open completely. Because I've already done the heavy lifting. I've already removed the main obstacle. I've already broken the resistance that existed. And within you, in your own inner dimension, something is also changing. Are you paying attention to what you feel right now? There's a peace that wasn't there 5 minutes ago. There's a lightness in your chest that you didn't feel when you first started listening to this message. There's a hope being reborn that you thought was dead. There's a growing certainty that doesn't come from your own logic. This isn't auto-suggestion. This isn't a psychological effect. This isn't a manufactured emotion. It's confirmation. It's my spirit bearing witness to your spirit that what you're hearing is true. It's my real, tangible presence surrounding you right now. I'm not speaking from afar. I'm not distantly watching. I'm here, so close that my breath touches your face, so close that my hand rests on your head, so present that my heart beats in sync with yours. I have arrived. I have not come with words alone. I have come with power. I have not come to merely promise. I have come to deliver. I have not come to give empty hope. I have come to bring real change. And I have come to change everything. Absolutely everything in your life that needs to be transformed. Nothing will remain as it is, because where I enter, everything is renewed. I want you to pay attention to what you're feeling right now. Stop for a moment and observe your body, your mind, your spirit. Is something different? Maybe it's a subtle tingling sensation running down your arms. Maybe it's a warmth in your chest that doesn't come from a physical source. Maybe it's just an inexplicable certainty growing within you, something your logic can't justify, but your spirit recognizes as true. Maybe it's a lightness in your shoulders, as if an invisible weight you've carried for so long is finally being lifted. Don't ignore these signs. Don't dismiss them as mere passing emotion. Don't attribute them to suggestion or your imagination, because what you are experiencing right now is the physical evidence of my presence touching you. It is my spirit making direct contact with your being. It is the tangible manifestation that I am not spouting distant theories. I am here with you right now, doing something real in your life. I am not a distant God watching from afar. I am not an impersonal force lost in the immensity of the universe. I am not an abstract concept that exists only in ancient books. I am a person. I am a father. I am present. And at this moment, I am so close to you that if you could open your spiritual eyes, you would see my glory enveloping you like a luminous cloak. You would see my presence filling every inch of the space around you. My hand is upon your head at this moment. It's not a figure of speech. It's not a poetic metaphor. It's a spiritual reality as concrete as anything you can touch with your physical hands. And from that hand of mine flows power, flows virtue, flows life. It's flowing into you now, penetrating your mind, reaching your heart, reaching the deepest parts of your being that were wounded, broken, and tired. My breath touches your face. The Holy Spirit that proceeds from me blows upon you like a gentle yet powerful wind. And this breath brings life where there was death. It brings hope where there was despair. It brings strength where there was weakness. It brings certainty where there was doubt. Every breath you take at this moment is being mingled with my divine breath. You are inhaling supernatural life. My heart beats in sync with yours. Do you feel the beat? I feel yours. What causes you pain causes me pain. What brings you joy brings me joy. What worries you worries me. Because you are not just my creation. You are my son, my daughter. You are part of me. You are connected to me by bonds that transcend human understanding. And right now, that connection is being intensified, strengthened, restored. Write 7777 in the comments now. This number seals the perfection of what I'm doing in you and activates your faith in a powerful way. I am infusing power into every cell of your body. Power to resist illness, power to endure pressure, power to overcome fatigue, power to overcome the impossible. Every cell is being recharged with divine energy. Every system in your body is being recalibrated according to the original blueprint I designed when I created you. What was malfunctioning is being adjusted. What was broken is being repaired. What was dead is being resurrected. Your mind is being renewed right now. Those negative thought patterns that imprisoned you are being broken. Those mental strongholds built by years of disappointment are being torn down. Those limiting beliefs that prevented you from moving forward are being removed, and in their place, I place my truth. I place my perspective. I place my thoughts that are higher than your thoughts. Your spirit is being strengthened now. That faith that was weak is being reinvigorated. That trust that was shaken is being restored. That hope that was dying is being resurrected. For I am the author and finisher of faith. I initiate it in you. I develop it in you. I perfect it in you. And today, I have decided to elevate your faith to a new level, a level where the impossible becomes possible, a level where miracles become routine, a level where your trust in me becomes unshakable. I know you wonder why now and not before. Why this moment and not 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when the need was just as urgent? Why did I allow you to wait so long when I always had the power to solve everything instantly? These questions have echoed in your mind so many times. Let me answer with clarity and truth that will forever transform your understanding of how I operate. There is something called divine timing. There is a celestial calendar that does not operate according to human haste. There are moments marked in eternity for specific events to occur in the lives of each of my children. And these moments are chosen not by whim, not by indifference, but by infinite wisdom that sees what your limited eyes cannot. I observe your past, your present, and your future simultaneously. I know all the variables, I understand all the consequences, and I choose the perfect moment with absolute precision. There are blessings so great that if they arrived before their due time, they would destroy you rather than build you up. They're like giving a powerful car to a 5-year-old. The gift is good, the car is valuable, but the recipient isn't prepared. The child isn't mature enough to drive. They don't have the discernment for traffic. They don't have the emotional structure for responsibility. And what should be a blessing would become a tragedy. The same happens with spiritual, financial, and relational blessings. They require preparation. They require character. They require maturity. During this time that seemed like an interminable delay, during those months or years you thought were wasted, I was working intensely behind the scenes of your life. I was removing toxic people from your path. People who, if you were in a position of blessing, would use you, manipulate you, and drain you. People who connected with you for the wrong reasons. I removed them to protect you, to prepare your circle, to ensure that when the blessing arrived, you would be surrounded by the right people. I was building your character to bear the weight of the glory to come. Because glory without character produces arrogance. Power without humility produces destruction. Wealth without wisdom produces ruin. So I allowed you to pass through the valley. I allowed the pressure. I allowed the hardship. Not because I delight in seeing you suffer, but because I love you too much to leave you unprepared. The valley refined your character. The pressure strengthened your spirit. The hardship taught you dependence on me. I was preparing strategic connections that you will need at the next level. There are people you will soon meet who will be crucial to your destiny. But these people were also being prepared. They were also going through their own processes, and I needed to synchronize their journeys with yours. I needed everyone to reach the meeting point at the right time, and that time is now. Share this message with someone who is also waiting. They need to understand that God's timing is perfect and never fails. I was refining your faith like gold in the fire. Untested faith is theoretical faith. Unproven faith is superficial faith. But faith that has gone through the fire, that has withstood doubt, that has stood firm when everything screamed, "Give up," that is genuine faith. That is the faith that moves mountains. That is the faith that attracts miracles. And you developed this faith during the wait. It is now one of your greatest treasures. I was closing doors that would lead you astray. Doors that seemed good to you, but that I knew were traps. Opportunities that would attract you but would divert you from my best. Relationships that would enchant you but would destroy you. I closed those doors. And though you knocked on them persistently, though you wept because they wouldn't open, today you will thank me for keeping them closed. It was opening portals you never imagined existed, creating opportunities your limited mind could never conceive, paving paths your eyes had never seen, arranging encounters that would change everything. And all of this required time. It required synchronization. It required 1,000 different pieces to fit together perfectly. Every day of waiting was a day of preparation. Nothing was wasted. Everything had a purpose. And now everything is aligned. The right people are in the right places. The right doors are about to open. The necessary resources are being mobilized. And you, my son, my daughter, are ready. Your character has been forged. Your faith has been tested. Your dependence on me has been established. Now is the perfect time. That is why the miracle descends tonight. I need you to understand something powerful about how the spiritual world operates. There are courts in heaven. These aren't metaphors. They are real courts where cases are tried, evidence is presented, and sentences are handed down. And in these heavenly courts, your case was being contested. Yes, there was a lawsuit filed against you. A case file was being reviewed. A legal battle taking place in dimensions your natural eyes can't see, but that are more real than any earthly court. The accuser, the one who hates everything I love, the one who delights in destroying my children, he presented evidence against you day and night. He is called the accuser of the brethren because this is his obsessive function. He does not rest. He does not tire. He continually brings evidence before my throne, trying to disqualify you from my blessings. And his accusations were not completely empty. He is a liar, but he also uses distorted truths. He would say, "Look how many times this son failed. Look how many promises he broke. Look how many mistakes he made. Look how many times he disappointed you. How can someone like that deserve healing? How can someone like that deserve provision? How can someone like that deserve a miracle? He deserves nothing but judgment, nothing but consequences, nothing but what his behavior produced. And he presented records, he presented dates, he presented facts that even you didn't remember. She doesn't deserve to be healed, he argued. Look how she treated her own body. Look at the choices she made. Look at the abuse she committed against herself. Why should I heal someone who didn't care for the temple I gave her? And he brought medical evidence. He brought logical consequences. He brought cause and effect. He argued with a veneer of justice, but with a heart of destruction. Look at all the mistakes he's made, he continued. Look at the wasted opportunities. Look at the buried talents. Look at the wasted time. Why should you bless someone who hasn't been faithful in the few things? Why promote someone who has failed in previous responsibilities? And his arguments seemed logical. They seemed fair. They seemed reasonable by legal standards. And for months the case remained open. For years, perhaps, under review, in process. The charges were heard. The evidence was examined. The legal process followed its course, and you didn't even know all this was happening. You lived your earthly life while a cosmic battle raged in the heavenly courts. You prayed for miracles while the accuser argued that you deserved nothing. But today something changed. Today the process has come to an end. For today I have risen from my throne. And when the supreme judge of the universe rises, the entire court falls silent. When I speak, no other voice can continue. When I decree, no argument can prevail. And today I decreed with absolute authority that shook all the heavenly courts. Case closed. Those two words echoed throughout the spiritual dimensions. The divine hammer struck, the sound reverberated, and what was in dispute ceased to be. What was under analysis was concluded. What was pending was resolved. No more discussion, no more argument, no more presentation of evidence. It's over, it's finished, it's decided. Leave your like as your amen to this verdict and subscribe, because I release heavenly decrees weekly to transform all areas of your life. There is no appeal. When I judge, my judgment is final. There is no higher court than mine. There is no appeal that can reverse my decision. There is no legal loophole that can be exploited. What I decide remains decided. What I establish remains established. What I decree remains decreed. And today I have decreed in your favor. The verdict has been rendered and is final. All charges have been considered and rejected. All evidence presented has been examined and invalidated. The accuser's entire argument has been heard and dismissed. For I do not judge as men judge. I do not base myself solely on external evidence. I see the heart. I see intention. I see genuine repentance. I see faith, even when it is as small as a grain of mustard seed. And when I looked into your heart, I found what I was looking for. I found love for myself mixed with doubt. I found faith, even when wavering. I found a sincere desire to follow me, even when your steps stumbled. And that was enough, more than enough. For I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners. I did not come to save the perfect, but the broken. And you, with all your imperfections, are exactly the kind of child I delight in rescuing. Every charge brought against you has been dropped. Every allegation the enemy made has been removed from the official record. Every piece of evidence he presented has been dismissed as inadmissible. Because even though the facts were real, even though wrongs occurred, there is something greater that covers it all. There is blood shed on the cross that cleanses every stain. There is a perfect sacrifice that cancels every debt. And when I look at you, I do not see your sins. I see the justice of my Son covering you completely. All the enemy's evidence was invalidated. Every document he brought was stamped with the word cancelled. Every record of failure was erased from the heavenly archive. Every list of errors was burned in the fire of the divine altar. Not because the errors didn't exist, but because they were paid for. Not because the failures didn't occur, but because they were covered. The price was paid in full. The moral debt was completely settled, and where there was condemnation, there is now total absolution. My son, my daughter, you have been declared innocent, not by your own merits, not because you managed to justify yourself, but because I justified you, because I applied to you the perfect justice of Calvary, because I clothed you with a cloak of righteousness that you did not produce, but that was given to you as an undeserved gift. And now, before the heavenly courts, your status has changed. You are no longer a defendant. You are a beloved child. You are no longer accused. You are acquitted. You are no longer on trial. You are approved. And more than that, I haven't just declared you innocent. I decree a blessing upon your life. Not a conditional blessing, not a temporary blessing, a permanent, irrevocable, abundant blessing. I decree that everything you touch will prosper. I decree that wherever you tread, I will take possession. I decree that the projects you begin will succeed. I decree that the dreams you hold in your heart will manifest in your reality. This blessing is not dependent on your future performance. It is established by divine decree that nothing can cancel. I decree healing upon your body, not improvement, not temporary relief, complete, total, permanent healing. I decree that every diseased cell be restored, that every compromised organ be renewed, that every malfunctioning system be recalibrated, that all chronic pain be expelled, that all illness be eradicated from its root. This decree of healing has already been issued, it has already been signed, it has already been sealed, and now it is being executed in your body at this very moment. I decree provision over your finances, not survival, not just enough, an abundant provision that exceeds your needs. I decree that sources of income open up, that opportunities arise, that resources flow from unexpected directions, that debts are cancelled, that lack turns into abundance, that scarcity gives way to abundance. This financial decree is activated now, and in the coming days, you will see concrete evidence of its execution. I decree peace upon your mind, not a superficial tranquility that any problem can shake, but a profound peace that endures even in the midst of a storm, a peace that transcends all logical understanding. I decree that anxiety be banished, that depression be removed, that obsessive thoughts be silenced, that mental clarity be restored, that emotional balance be established. This peace is already being poured upon you like sacred oil that calms all inner turmoil. Let it be executed immediately. This is not an order for the future, it is a command for now. There is no waiting period. There is no bureaucratic waiting period. The execution is immediate. The angels responsible have already received the order. They have already moved. They are already operating. And what was decreed in heaven is being manifested on earth at this moment. When I speak, the universe obeys. Natural laws bow to my words. Circumstances rearrange themselves according to my decrees. Impossibilities become possibilities, because my word is not just sound. It is creative power. It is transformative force. It is absolute authority. And when I decree something over your life, all creation conspires to fulfill it. The angels who guarded your process now carry it with a red stamp on each page. Approved, immediate execution, top priority. and they descend at this instant to manifest in your natural world what was decided in the spiritual world. They bring healing, they bring provision, they bring peace, they bring restoration, and nothing can stop them. That debt that suffocated you has been cancelled. That illness that tormented you has been revoked. That family curse that haunted you has been broken. That cycle of failure that repeated itself has been interrupted. Because I am the supreme judge, and I have decreed absolute victory over your life. Not partial victory, not conditional victory. Complete, total, definitive victory. But I need you to understand something crucial about this miracle that descends. It is not something you earned. It is not a prize you deserved. It is not a reward for your efforts. Because if it were based on merit, no human being would ever receive a miracle. If I distributed blessings only to the worthy, everyone would be left empty. If I healed only those who had never sinned, no one would be healed. If I provided only for those who had always been faithful, everyone would be in need. This miracle isn't a result of how many prayers you've said. It doesn't depend on how many hours you've fasted. It's not conditioned by how many services you've attended or how many verses you've memorized. It doesn't work like a point system, where you accumulate merits until you reach a sufficient quota to unlock blessings. Because if it did, it would be commerce, it would be a transaction, it would be an exchange of favors. And I don't trade with my children, I don't trade love, I don't sell miracles. This is grace, a small word, but packed with transformative power. Grace means undeserved favor. It means a blessing you didn't earn. It means a gift you didn't pay for. It means love you didn't provoke. It's the exact opposite of works-based justice. It's the complete inversion of the human logic of merit. It's God freely giving what man could never earn through his own efforts. It is immeasurable love that defies rational understanding. Love that does not expect perfect reciprocity. Love that does not shrink from failure. Love that does not tire of repeated failures. Love that persists when everyone else gives up. Love that sees beyond who you are today and sees what you can be tomorrow. Love that is not based on your performance but on my immutable nature. It is my sovereign decision to bless you simply because you are mine, not for any other reason, not by elaborate calculation, not by cost-benefit analysis, simply because I look at you and see a beloved son. I see a precious daughter. I see someone who bears my image, even though distorted by sin. I see someone for whom I paid a very high price, and everything I paid dearly for, I care for with extreme zeal. I don't bless you because you're perfect. If I waited for perfection to act, I would never act. Because there is no one righteous, not even one. All have sinned and fall short of divine glory. All have failed multiple times. All have blemishes on their record. But I don't look at your blemishes when I decide to bless you. I look at my own fatherly heart, which cannot bear to see a child suffering when he has the power to change the situation. I bless you because I am good, not because you are. My goodness does not depend on yours. My generosity does not wait for your perfection. My willingness to give is not conditioned by your worthiness. I am good by nature. It is who I am. It is what I do. I cannot act otherwise because it would be denying my very essence, and my essence is love. It is generosity. It is abundant grace. It is my nature to give good things to the children I love. What father, having bread, would give a stone to his son who asks? What father, having a fish, would give a serpent? If you, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more I, who am perfect in love. I delight to bless. I rejoice to provide. I delight to heal. I rejoice to restore. Not out of obligation, out of pleasure, by nature, out of love. Leave your like now, as gratitude to the Father who loves you undeservedly. It's not pride, it's recognition of the grace that transforms your life. Nothing gives me more joy than seeing you happy. Nothing satisfies my fatherly heart like knowing you are well. Nothing completes me as much as seeing you healthy, provided for, at peace, fulfilled, because I created you for plenitude. I designed you for abundance. I planned you for joy. And every moment you live less than this hurts me more than it hurts you. Because I am a father, and a father suffers with the suffering of a child. Tonight is special not because you followed all the religious protocols, not because you met all the doctrinal requirements, not because you finally qualified according to ecclesiastical standards. Tonight is special because I decided it was, because I looked at your situation and said enough, because I saw your suffering and decided to intervene, because I heard your silent cry and decided to respond with manifest power. It's not the result of a religious process, it's the result of fatherly love. It's not your achievement, it's my gift. It's not because you did everything right, it's because I decided to do what only I can do. I decided to show you my power in a new way. I decided to reveal my goodness to you in a tangible way. I decided to prove to you that I am not a God of empty promises, but of real fulfillment. So receive, not with the arrogance of one who deserves it, but with the gratitude of one who recognizes grace. Receive, not with the pride of a conqueror, but with the humility of one who has been gifted. Receive knowing that you did not conquer, but were achieved. You did not deserve, but were chosen. You did not earn, but were loved. And this love that reaches you today will change everything. Now I'm going to talk specifically about each area of your life that will be transformed by this heavenly decree. And I'll start with your health, because I know there's something wrong with your body. There's a pain that's been with you for months, maybe years. There's an illness that doctors have examined but haven't been able to completely cure. There's a diagnosis that has robbed you of peace and filled your mind with fear. There's a persistent symptom that reminds you daily that something is wrong. Maybe it's joint pain that limits your movement. Maybe it's chronic fatigue that saps your energy. Maybe it's uncontrolled blood pressure that threatens your heart. Maybe it's diabetes that forces you to be constantly vigilant. Maybe it's a vision problem that clouds your vision. Maybe it's insomnia that prevents you from resting. Maybe it's a migraine that plagues you without warning. Maybe it's something more serious that scares you when you think about the future. But now, at this very moment, I command your body. I do not suggest, I do not ask. I command with the absolute authority of the Creator. Cells, renew yourselves. Every diseased cell, every damaged cell, every cell that does not function as it should, now receives a divine command for complete renewal. Corrupted DNA is restored to its original design. Mutations are corrected. Degenerations are reversed. Cellular life is reactivated where it was dying. Systems function properly. The weakened immune system is strengthened. The compromised digestive system is restored. The overburdened cardiovascular system is relieved. The collapsed nervous system is renewed. The dysregulated endocrine system is recalibrated. Every system in your body now receives divine adjustment to function in perfect harmony as it was designed from the beginning. Organs, restore yourselves. Liver that was suffering, regenerate now. Kidneys that were failing, recover your function. Lungs that were compromised, expand your capacity. Heart that was weakened, strengthen yourself. Stomach that was inflamed, heal yourself. Intestines that were irregular, normalize. Each organ receives a restorative touch that returns it to a state of full health. Pain, leave in my name. All chronic pain that has set in, all acute tormenting pain, all phantom pain that persists, all emotional pain that has manifested into physical pain. Leave now, go away. You are cast out by the authority of the name that is above every name. You are not allowed to remain. You have no legal right to this body that was bought with the price of blood. Leave and do not return. It's not a gradual process. It's not months of slow treatment. It's not a progressive improvement that takes years. It's an instant touch. It's a supernatural intervention. It's a creative miracle happening now. You may not feel a complete change immediately. Your symptoms may not disappear all at once. But at the cellular level, the molecular level, the systemic level, it's already begun. The healing process has already begun. Restoration is already underway. Every word that comes from my mouth carries creative power. They are not empty words. They are not symbolic declarations. They are commands that reorganize matter. They are decrees that rewrite biology. They are orders that reverse pathological processes. Because my word does not return empty, it fulfills the purpose for which I send it. And today, I send it to heal your body. Share this healing word with someone who is sick. When you bring healing to others, I accelerate your own recovery many times over. I created your body. It wasn't doctors. It wasn't blind evolution. It wasn't cosmic chance. It was me. I formed you in your mother's womb. I wove every organ. I established every system. I programmed every cell. I designed every detail with infinite precision. And everything I created, I know perfectly. I know every cell by name. I know every specific function. I know exactly what needs fixing. I have absolute authority over the work of my hands. No disease has a higher authority than mine. No virus can resist my command. No bacteria survive my order. No cancer cell remains when I decree its death. No degenerative process continues when I order its reversal. For I am the Lord who heals you. It is one of my eternal names. It is one of my immutable natures. Human medicine has its limits. Doctors do the best they can with limited knowledge and imperfect tools. And I use them, I honor them, I work through them, but I am not limited by them. When medicine says impossible, I say possible. When the prognosis says terminal, I say reversible. When science says incurable, I say curable, because I operate beyond natural laws. I am supernatural by definition. Your healing is happening now. Not tomorrow, not after long processes, now. And in the coming days, you'll begin to notice physical signs, pain lessening, energy returning, sleep improving, symptoms easing, tests showing changes, until the healing is complete and manifest. Now I'm talking about your finances. I know exactly what your situation is. I know the numbers in your bank account. I see the bills piling up on your desk. I know the one due tomorrow that's keeping you awake at night. I know the rent you can't pay. I see the debt growing with interest that suffocates you. I know about your maxed out credit card. I know the late payments. I see the shame you feel at not being able to adequately provide for your loved ones. This financial anguish that haunts you daily is not unknown to me. I see you repeatedly doing the math, hoping the outcome will change. I see you postponing essential payments. I see you choosing between buying medicine or food. I see you avoiding looking at bank statements because reality hurts too much. I see the nights you spend awake calculating, planning, despairing, and all of this touches my heart as a providing father. I am your provider. It's not an empty title. It's not a symbolic name. It's a real role I actively play in the lives of my children. I am Jehovah Jireh, the God who provides. It's one of my eternal names. It's engraved in my identity. I cannot help but provide, because it would be denying who I am. and I will never deny my very nature. Providing for my own is as natural to me as breathing is to you. Right now, at this very moment, I am making a decision about your financial situation. I don't plan to do something in the future. I am doing it now. I don't promise to intervene later. I am intervening right now. The gears of the financial world are being moved by my invisible but powerful hand. Resources are being mobilized. Doors are being opened. Connections are being established. And all of this happens while you listen to my voice. I will make money appear from where you didn't expect it, from a source that wasn't even on your radar, from a direction your calculating mind hadn't considered. Because I have 1,000 ways to provide that you don't know about. I have hidden resources your eyes have never seen. I have treasures in secret places your logic never imagined. And today I decide to open one of those secret places for you. I will have someone remember a debt you owe. Money owed to you for so long that you never expected it. A payment forgotten and now remembered. Restitution that was rightfully yours but was withheld and now released. I will touch that person's heart. I will remind them of their obligation. And they will feel the urgency to make amends with you. Not because of your demands, but because of my direction. I make an opportunity appear out of nowhere, an extra job you weren't looking for, a business deal you didn't plan for, a proposal that arrives unexpectedly, a door that opens without you even knocking. Because when I create an opportunity, I don't need a perfect resume. I don't demand qualifications you don't have. I don't just look at your formal experience. I look at your heart and create opportunities tailored to who you are. I determine that job doors will mysteriously open, that position that seemed impossible, that promotion you never imagined, that contract you thought was lost, that approval that was stalled. All of this now moves under my authority. People in decision-making positions are being influenced favorably for you. Circumstances that were blocking you are being removed. And what was closed opens. You won't need to desperately chase after it. You won't need to beg. You won't need to humble yourself before creditors, because provision will chase you. It will find you. It will reach you. It will surprise you. It will come when you least expect it. It will arrive in ways you didn't plan. It will appear in amounts that will leave you speechless. Because when I test, I don't do it with scarcity. I do it with abundance that exceeds need. Subscribe now to this channel where I release weekly prosperity decrees and practical revelations on how to walk in continuous supernatural provision. When I taste, no one questions the source. There will be no doubt about origin. There will be no shame in reception. There will be no illegality involved. Everything will come in legitimate, honorable, and dignified ways. Because I don't need questionable methods to bless you. I control legitimate resources. I influence honest people. I create ethical opportunities. And everything that comes will be clean, clear, and impeccable. Money will come from multiple and unexpected directions. It could be a tax refund you hadn't calculated. It could be an inheritance from a distant relative. It could be a generous gift from someone I'll touch. It could be a job promotion you weren't seeking. It could be a business deal that closes surprisingly. It could be an investment that yields more than expected. It could be all of these things together. Because when I open the taps of provision, I don't open just one. I open several simultaneously. Your financial situation is changing now. The cycle of lack is being broken. The pattern of scarcity is being interrupted. The curse of poverty is being lifted. And in its place, I establish the blessing of abundance. Not unnecessary luxury, but worthy sufficiency. Not wealth for ostentation, but resources to live well and be a channel of blessing to others. Now I'm talking about your relationships. I know there are deep wounds in this area of your life. I know that person who hurt you, and the pain still throbs when you remember. I see that family member who no longer speaks to you, and their absence leaves a huge void. I know that son who drifted away, and every day away from him brings renewed suffering. I know that marriage that grew cold, and the coldness hurts more than any harsh words. I see that friendship that fell apart, and the longing for what was there tightens my chest. These relationship ruptures are no less painful than physical illnesses. Sometimes they hurt more, because wounds in the body heal with time, but wounds in the soul can bleed for years. Rejection scars deeper than any physical blow. Abandonment leaves scars invisible to the eye, but devastating to the heart. And I see each of these marks. I know every layer of pain that has accumulated. I know how hard it is to wake up every day with this weight. I will break the hardness of the heart, not just yours, the other person's heart as well. Because often the problem isn't a lack of love. It's hardened pride, it's crystallized hurt, it's petrified resentment. These are layers and layers of protection the heart has built to prevent further suffering. And these layers prevent reconciliation. But I have the power to soften what has hardened, to melt what has frozen, to dissolve what has crystallized. I will soften the pride that has separated. Because in many cases, it's not that people no longer love each other. It's that neither wants to give in, neither wants to be the first to apologize, neither wants to appear weak by admitting a mistake. So, pride maintains a distance neither truly wants. But I can break that pride. I can humble hearts in a good way. I can make both sides see their part in the rupture. And when pride falls, the path to reconciliation opens. I will restore wounded love. Love that has been hurt is not dead, it's just wounded. And wounds can be healed, betrayals can be forgiven. Heartaches can be overcome, disappointments can be processed. It's not easy, it's not quick. But it is possible, and I specialize in making what seems impossible possible. I am the God of new beginnings, of second chances, of complete restorations. I specialize in bringing together what has been separated. It's what I do most. I bring together God and humanity separated by sin. I bring together families fractured by hurt. I bring together couples divided by betrayal. I bring together parents and children estranged by pride. I bring together friends separated by misunderstanding. It's my specialty, my passion, my joy, because I was the one who created relationships from the beginning. And I hate to see the brokenness of what I created to be eternal. I am the God who rebuilds bridges, not just repairs, rebuilds. Because often the old bridge was poorly built from the start. It had weak foundations, a defective structure, so simply repairing it isn't enough. It needs to be rebuilt with deeper foundations, with stronger materials, with wiser design. And this rebuilding is what I offer. Relationships not just mended but renewed, not just restored but improved. I am the one who heals emotional wounds, the deepest ones, the oldest ones, those that were never properly treated, those that became infected over time, those that left disfiguring scars. I know how to treat each one. I know how to cleanse the infection. I know how to remove dead tissue. I know how to promote healthy tissue growth. I know how to create scars that don't disfigure. And when I finish my work of emotional healing, the person is free. Truly free. I am the one who transforms enmity into love, the impossible par excellence, transforming hatred into affection, resentment into tenderness, bitterness into tenderness, the desire for revenge into the desire for reconciliation. This is not a human work, it is a divine miracle, and I perform these miracles regularly. I touch hardened hearts. I change distorted perspectives. I heal poisoned memories, and what was war becomes peace. But I need to be honest with you. There are cases where reconciliation won't be possible, not because I can't, but because the other person doesn't want it. Because I gave everyone free will, and some will choose to remain distant. Some will keep their hearts closed. Some will reject every attempt at restoration. And I respect that choice, even if I disagree with it, because forced love is not love. Imposed reconciliation is not reconciliation. In these cases, I will give you the peace to let go, the peace to accept that you did your part, the peace to release the person without bitterness, the peace to move forward without guilt. It's not conformity, it's wisdom. It's not giving up, it's maturity. Knowing when to fight and when to let go is a gift I grant to those who seek me, and I will heal the pain of rejection, the wound of not being chosen, the sadness of not being valued, and I will bring new people into your life. People who will genuinely value you. People who will love you as you deserve. People I myself have chosen and prepared for you, because you were not created for solitude. You were created for communion, for family, for deep friendships, for meaningful relationships, and I will fill your life with healthy, genuine, and lasting relationships that will bring true joy to your heart. Now I speak about your mind and your emotions. I know there's torment going on inside you that no one sees but that consumes you daily. I know that anxiety that wakes you at 3 in the morning with your heart racing and thoughts racing. I see that depression that steals your joy, that turns colors into gray, that makes even getting out of bed seem like an impossible task. I know those obsessive thoughts that swirl in your head endlessly, torturing you with incessant worries. I know that fear that paralyzes you, that prevents you from living fully, that traps you in an ever-shrinking safety zone. These mental and emotional battles are real. They are not weaknesses of character. They are not lack of faith. They are not moral failings. They are genuine attacks on your peace. They are invisible but very real prisons. And they are often even more difficult to bear than physical illnesses because they are invisible to others. No one sees your internal struggle. No one understands the war you wage within your own mind. But I see, I understand, and today I intervene. I command now with absolute authority over all forces of darkness. Peace, enter, not superficial peace that any problem can shake. Deep peace that endures even in the storm. Peace that transcends logical understanding. Peace that does not depend on external circumstances. Peace that comes directly from the heavenly throne. This peace is being poured over your mind at this very moment like sacred oil that calms all agitation. Fear, leave. All paralyzing fear, all irrational fear, all fear of the future. All fear of repeating the past, all fear of failure, all fear of disappointment, all fear of not being enough. Leave now in the name of Jesus. You have no permission to remain. You have no legal right over this mind. For I have not given my children a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Fear is an intruder, and every intruder will be cast out. Joy, return. The joy that was stolen by depression, the joy that was stifled by anxiety, the contentment that was destroyed by worry. Return now to your soul. Return to your spirit. Fill the spaces that sadness occupied, because the joy of the Lord is your strength. It is not manufactured joy. It is not forced happiness. It is genuine joy that springs from knowing that your Heavenly Father has everything under control. Clarity, manifest yourself. Mental clarity that has been obscured by confusion. The ability to think clearly has been compromised by emotional fog. Discernment that has been distorted by anxiety. A healthy perspective that has been distorted by depression. Return now. Manifest yourself fully, For God is not of confusion, but of order, and mental order is being restored at this moment. Right, my mind is being set free in the comments now. When your tongue declares freedom, your mind receives supernatural power of real liberation. It's not willpower. It's no use just trying to think positively. It can't be solved with mental effort alone. It's not a matter of deciding to be happy. Because if it were that simple, you would have resolved it long ago. This is supernatural intervention. It's my spirit doing what you can't do alone. It's divine power breaking what human effort can't break. It's grace working where your own strength fails. My spirit is touching your mind now. This is not a figure of speech. It is a tangible spiritual reality. I am reprogramming negative thought patterns. I am removing mental strongholds built by years of suffering. I am undoing emotional knots that have held you back. I am clearing memories contaminated by trauma. I am healing deep psychological wounds. And I am doing all this while you listen to my voice. Do you feel that lightness beginning? That peace descending like a warm blanket? That weight lifting from your shoulders? That breathing becoming easier? It's not imagination. It's not a placebo effect. It's not auto-suggestion. It's my real touch, producing real change in your emotional and mental makeup. It's liberation happening now. And now I speak of your purpose. I know there is a deep confusion within you about your calling, a persistent feeling of being lost, a question that constantly echoes, why am I here? Why was I born? These questions torment you, especially in the wee hours of the morning when there are no distractions to drown out the inner voice crying out for meaning. But today, I'm going to answer that question. Not in a philosophical, abstract way. I'm going to answer it in a practical, concrete, applicable way. I'm going to show you not only that you have a purpose, but what that purpose is. In the coming days, you will begin to understand why I created you. It will unfold gradually, step by step. I will reveal enough for the next step, enough for you to begin walking with a clear direction. Opportunities will arise that are strangely aligned with your talents. Talents you might not even know you had. Situations will arise that demand exactly what you have to offer. And when you face them, you'll feel something click inside you, a sense of perfect fit. Doors connected to your calling will appear. Opportunities will appear in areas you never considered, but that resonate deeply with something within you. Encounters that may seem coincidental, but were actually scheduled in the celestial calendar. Creative ideas will come to you, showing you your direction. Ideas that will wake you up in the morning, that will emerge as you walk. Ideas so specific they couldn't have come from your imagination alone. They will be divine inspiration, leave alike. Now, if something in you was activated by hearing about purpose, it's your way of accepting the mission that's always been yours. Because I didn't bring you to Earth to wander aimlessly. I brought you with a specific mission, with a unique purpose, with a glorious destiny. There is something only you can do. There are lives only you can touch. And that glorious destiny is beginning to unfold now. Starting tonight, let me recap what I decreed for your life today. In your health, I decree complete healing at the cellular level. Not partial improvement, not temporary relief. Healing that penetrates every cell, every organ, every system of your body. Healing that restores you to the original blueprint I designed when I created you. In your finances, I decree provision from unexpected sources, resources that will come from directions you hadn't anticipated, opportunities that will arise out of nowhere, doors that will mysteriously open, provision that depends not on human savings, but on heavenly abundance. In your relationships, I decree restoration and new connections, bridges being rebuilt, hearts being softened. And where reconciliation isn't possible, new people entering your life. The right people, healthy people, people I've chosen specifically for you. In your mind, I decree peace that banishes all anxiety, deep peace that endures even in the storm, freedom from obsessive thoughts, healing from depression, mental clarity is restored, emotional balance is established. In your purpose, I decree absolute clarity about your calling, progressive but concrete revelation, opportunities aligned with your talents, doors connected to your mission, creative ideas showing your direction. This isn't a one-dimensional miracle. It's not just healing the body while finances remain bankrupt. It's not providing financial support while the mind remains tormented. It's a total transformation. It's a complete renewal. It's an intervention in all areas simultaneously. It's as if I'm rebuilding the entire structure of your life from the foundations up, removing cracked foundations, replacing weakened pillars, renewing damaged roofs. And when I rebuild, I make it better than it was before, stronger, more beautiful, more glorious. You're not just being restored to who you were, you're being elevated to who you were always meant to be, to the level I always intended for you, to the full version of who I created you to be. And that transformation begins tonight. But be careful, my son, my daughter. I need to warn you about something crucial that will happen in the next few hours. The enemy is furious right now. He has just witnessed your utter defeat in the heavenly courts. He saw the case he thought he had won, decided completely in your favor. He heard the divine hammer strike and seal your victory. He saw the angels leaving with decrees of blessing for you, and his wrath is immense. He knows he's lost your case. There's no more argument to be made. There's no more evidence he can present. There are no more legal remedies he can use. The judgment is final. The sentence has been handed down, and that sentence is completely in your favor. He knows this. He knows that according to heavenly laws, he no longer has any right over your life. He knows that legally he's defeated. He knows the judgment was in your favor in every area. Health approved, finances liberated, relationships restored, mind healed, purpose revealed. He sees all this happening and cannot bear it because he hates seeing my children blessed. He hates seeing lives restored. He hates seeing miracles manifest. It is his nature to hate everything I love. And because he's a sore loser, he won't accept defeat peacefully. He won't bow out with dignity. He won't respect the court's verdict. He'll make desperate last-ditch attempts. He'll use dirty tactics. He'll play dirty tricks. He'll try to steal by illegal means what he couldn't prevent by legal means. And I need you to be prepared to recognize and resist these attacks. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, he'll try three main things. First, he'll try to fill your mind with doubt. He'll whisper thoughts like nothing has changed, everything's the same, it was just a momentary emotion, nothing different will happen. He'll use your own mental voice to convince you that what you heard here was a lie, that you've deluded yourself, that you've fallen for emotional manipulation, that no real miracle is happening. Second, he will send negative voices through the people around you. Someone will tell you not to be deluded. Someone will advise you to be realistic. Someone will mock your faith. Someone will question why you haven't yet seen immediate changes. And these voices will often come from people close to you, people who claim to love you, people who think they're protecting you from disappointment, but they will be used by the enemy to undermine your confidence in what I have decreed. Third, he'll create last-minute obstacles. Something will break unexpectedly. Someone will disappoint you right now. A situation will get worse before it gets better. a problem will arise out of nowhere, all perfectly timed to make you question whether there really was a heavenly decree, to make you doubt whether anything has truly changed, to make you think that maybe you're wrong about all of this. He shares this warning with others who also expect miracles. When you arm people with this knowledge, you protect not only yourself but many others. He will do all this with a single goal: to make you give up believing, to make you release the decree before it fully manifests, to make you abandon your position of faith just when victory is closest. Because he knows that if he can get you to give up now, in the final hours before full manifestation, he will have stolen something that no longer belongs to you. But I give you this warning so that you are prepared, so that when doubts arise, you immediately recognize them as an attack, so that when negative voices speak, you identify their source, so that when obstacles arise, you understand that they are desperate attempts by an already defeated enemy. Knowledge is power, and now that you know his tactics, they lose much of their effectiveness. Don't be alarmed when this happens. In fact, when you begin to experience these things, you'll know it's precisely because the miracle is near. The enemy doesn't waste ammunition attacking those who pose no threat. He only attacks ferociously when he knows he's about to lose something valuable. So his attacks in the coming hours will actually be confirmation that the heavenly decree is manifesting. Resist, remain steadfast. Victory is already yours, but I do not leave you unarmed in the face of these attacks. I give you authority now, real, legal authority, effective against all the power of the enemy. Authority that does not depend on how long you have held the faith. It does not depend on how holy you are. It does not depend on your biblical knowledge. It depends on only one thing: the name that is above every name, the blood that was shed on the cross, the victory that was already won at Calvary. When doubt arises, and it will, don't try to argue with it mentally. Don't engage in internal debate trying to convince yourself, because doubt fueled by arguments only grows. Instead, declare it out loud. Use your mouth, use your tongue, use your vocal cords, because there is power in the spoken word that does not exist in silent thought. Declare with authority, no. Simple as that. A clear, direct, blunt denial. I do not accept this doubt. I do not agree with this thought. I do not accept this suggestion. I do not allow this idea to take root in my mind. No, it is your first line of defense. It is your first raised shield. It is your first drawn sword. And then it continues, my God has spoken and he will fulfill it. Remind the enemy, remind yourself, remind the Kotnan, unseen powers around you, that this is not based on your feelings. It is not based on visible circumstances. It is not based on natural evidence. It is based on the Word of God, and that Word does not fail. It does not return void. It does not fail to accomplish what it was sent to do. My case is closed. It affirms what happened in the heavenly courts. It reinforces spiritual reality. It reminds us that there was a trial, that there was a verdict, that there was a decree, and that this decree is irrevocable, no matter what the natural eyes see, no matter what the circumstances suggest. In the spiritual realm, where the real battles take place, your case is officially closed with a favorable verdict. My miracle is descending, present continuous tense. It won't descend someday. Maybe it won't descend. It's descending now, in motion, on its way, approaching, crossing dimensions, coming from heaven to earth, from the invisible to the visible, from the promised to the manifested. It's in transit, and nothing interrupts divine deliverances, and nothing can stop him. No power in darkness, no adverse circumstance, no opposing person, no natural obstacle, no physical law, no human impossibility. Nothing has authority higher than divine decree. Nothing has greater power than the word that came from the mouth of God. When God decrees, the universe obeys, period. This complete statement acts as a shield. A shield is not an offensive weapon. It doesn't attack, it defends, it protects, it blocks. And that's exactly what you need in the coming hours. Protection from the fiery arrows the enemy will launch. Blockade against the mental darts that will try to penetrate your faith. Defense against the attacks that will come from all sides. Protect your miracle from final attacks, because the miracle is already yours. It has already been decreed. It is already on its way. But it needs to be protected during the period of manifestation. Just as a pregnant woman protects her baby during gestation, the baby already exists, it is already formed, but it needs protection until it is born. So too does your miracle. It already exists in the spiritual. It needs protection until it manifests in the natural. Write 7777 in the comments now. It's the code of divine protection that seals your shield and declares to the enemy that you are covered in blood. Memorize this declaration. Engrave it on your heart. Write it down if necessary. Put it where you can see it, because you will need to use it, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe several times a day for the next few days. Repeat it as often as necessary. There is no limit. There is no exaggeration. Each time you declare it, you strengthen your position. You reinforce your shield. You renew your authority, because the battle is verbal. It's not fought merely in silent thoughts. It's fought with spoken words, with audible declarations, with decrees that come from the mouth. The enemy spoke words of doubt. You respond with words of faith. He whispers lies. You proclaim truth. He suggests defeat. You decree victory. It's a war of words. And words based on my promise always triumph over words based on lies. War is about decrees. Who decrees what? He tries to decree defeat over your life. You decree victory. He tries to decree scarcity. You decree abundance. He tries to decree sickness. You decree health. He tries to decree hopelessness. You decree hope. And your decrees, when based on what I have already decreed, have superior authority to his. Because you speak from the side of heavenly law, he speaks like a fugitive criminal. Whoever decrees with my word in their mouth always wins. Always, without exception, without fail, because it is not your strength, it is the power of the word. It is not your authority. It is the authority of the name. It is not your power, it is the power of the blood. And these three are invincible: the word of God, the name of Jesus, the blood of Calvary. A trinity of power that has never been defeated and never will be. Now, I need to talk about the timing of manifestation, because many miss their miracles precisely here, not for lack of heavenly decree, not for lack of divine power, but because they don't understand how miracles manifest in time. And this misunderstanding creates false expectations that lead to unnecessary disappointment and abandonment of faith just before the full manifestation. Some miracles are instantaneous, they are immediate. They are like lightning from the sky, changing everything in a split second. The woman with the issue of blood touched the hem of my cloak, and instantly her bleeding stopped. Lazarus heard my voice in the tomb and immediately came back to life. The paralytic at the pool of Bethesda was commanded to stand, and in that moment his legs regained strength. These are miracles that happened in the blink of an eye. Other miracles are progressive. They are gradual. They are like a seed that germinates, grows and develops until it produces mature fruit. The blind man of Bethsaida needed 2 applications. The first time, he saw men like trees walking. The second time, he saw clearly. Naaman needed to dip himself 7 times in the river. With each dip, progress was made. The 7th time, the healing was complete. These are miracles that unfold in stages, but all of them, absolutely all of them, are guaranteed. It doesn't matter whether they come instantly or gradually. It doesn't matter whether they manifest tomorrow or in 3 months. What matters is that when I decree something, it is decreed. When I promise something, it is promised. And my word does not return void. It fulfills the purpose for which I sent it. It accomplishes what I determine, always, without fail, without exception. Maybe you wake up tomorrow and the pain that's tormented you for years has completely disappeared overnight. Maybe you get out of bed and realize something has radically changed. Maybe you can move things that were previously impossible. Maybe you feel energy you haven't had in ages. It could be an instant miracle that happens while you sleep, because I also work while you rest. I often do my best work in the silent hours of the morning. You might receive an unexpected call with the exact financial solution you need, someone offering you a job, a bank approving a loan you'd previously denied, someone paying off a debt you owed them, an opportunity appearing out of nowhere. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be this week, but it will come, because it's already been decreed in the heavenly courts, and heavenly decrees are inevitably fulfilled in the natural world. It may be that in 3 days you see clear physical evidence, that you undergo tests and the results show an impossible change according to medical parameters, that you return to the doctor and he or she has no explanation for the improvement, that witnesses around you notice a clear difference. It may be a progressive but accelerated manifestation. 3 days for what would naturally take 3 years. Because I accelerate processes when I decide to intervene. But regardless of when, the miracle is already in motion. It's not standing still, waiting for something from you. It's not frozen, awaiting your perfection. It's not suspended until you reach a certain spiritual level. It's already happening. It's already flowing. It's already moving from heaven to earth, from the spiritual to the natural, from the invisible to the visible. It's only a matter of time, and that time is controlled by me with perfect precision. Leave your like confirming that you trust in my perfect timing, and sign up to receive weekly decrees that will accelerate every manifestation in your life. It's already left heaven. It's no longer in the heavenly warehouse. It's no longer awaiting approval. It's no longer on the waiting list. It's gone. It's been dispatched. It's in transit, like a package, already posted. It might take a day. It might take a week, but it's coming. It won't be returned to the sender. It won't be lost en route. It won't be delivered to the wrong address. It will reach you. Absolutely. It's already on its way. Getting closer with every passing moment. Every second that passes is a second closer to complete manifestation. Every minute brings you closer to visible victory. Every hour shortens the distance between promise and fulfillment. Time is working for you now, not against you, because this is not a time of empty waiting. It is a time of divine gestation. The miracle is being formed. It is being prepared. It is being adjusted to perfectly fit your specific need, and nothing can stop it. No opposing force, no opposing power, no adverse circumstance, because what comes from the heavenly throne with divine seal cannot be intercepted by lesser powers. It is like a presidential decree that no lesser authority can annul. It is like a Supreme Court ruling that no lower court can reverse. It has ultimate authority, supreme power, and guaranteed execution. So rest, trust, wait with certainty, not doubt. because the miracle that bears your name is coming, and when it arrives, you will recognize that every moment of waiting was worth it, that the time was necessary, that the preparation was essential, and that my timing was perfect. Now I'm going to give you specific and practical instructions for the coming days, because heavenly decrees need to be matched with earthly actions. Not that your actions will earn the miracle, but your actions demonstrate faith, and demonstrated faith attracts manifestation. So pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you now. These aren't optional suggestions. They are divine instructions that will maximize the speed and fullness of your miracle's manifestation. When you wake up tomorrow, there's a specific sequence I want you to follow, and that sequence is crucial. The order matters, the timing matters, because the first moments of the day set the tone for all the hours that follow. What you feed your mind upon waking largely determines how your day will unfold, and I want your day to begin connected with me, not with the world, not with problems, with me. Before you reach for your phone, I know it's your first, almost automatic action. You wake up and instantly reach for your phone, to check messages, to see the news, to scroll through social media. But not tomorrow. Tomorrow you resist that urge. Leave your phone where it is, because what you have to do first is more important than any message that might have arrived overnight, more urgent than any notification, more valuable than any update. Before you do anything else, don't go to the bathroom first. Don't drink water first. Don't get out of bed first. Stay where you are for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes of your day, 300 seconds out of 24 hours. It's a minimal investment with a maximum return, because those 5 minutes will establish a connection that will sustain your entire day. They will open a channel through which my presence will flow continuously. You dedicate the first 5 minutes to worshiping me, not asking, not complaining, not listing problems, to worshiping, to acknowledging who I am, to declaring my greatness, to exalting my name, to celebrating my goodness. Worship is not about you, it's about me. And when you start the day focusing on me instead of yourself, your perspective changes completely. Problems that seemed like mountains become molehills. Impossibilities that once frightened you become opportunities for me to demonstrate power. And after worship, say exactly this. Don't improvise your own words. Use the ones I'm giving you now, because they have specific power. They've been calibrated to activate specific things in the spiritual realm. They're like a code that opens heavenly doors. So memorize them, engrave them in your heart, and declare them tomorrow morning, right after you wake up. Father, thank you for the miracle that is already in motion. Gratitude in the present tense, not for the miracle that will come someday, for the miracle that is already happening now. It has already come from heaven. It is already on its way. It is already in the process of manifestation, and you give thanks for it even before you see complete physical evidence. This is faith in its purest form, giving thanks for the invisible as if it were already visible. I receive it by faith, active reception, not passive waiting. You don't wait for the miracle to fall from the sky upon you while you remain inert. You actively position yourself to receive it. You extend spiritual hands. You open your heart completely. You remove barriers of doubt, and you declare that you now receive by faith what you do not yet fully see with your natural eyes. I believe in your word. Proper anchoring. Your faith is not based on feelings. It is not grounded in circumstances. It does not depend on visible evidence. It is anchored in my word, and my word is more solid than concrete, firmer than rock, more reliable than anything you can see or touch. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will endure forever, and I glorify you in advance. glory in advance. You don't wait for the miracle to be completed before glorifying me. You glorify now before the full manifestation. Like Abraham, who gave glory to God before Isaac was born. Like the Israelites who marched around Jericho, glorifying before the walls fell. Glory in advance demonstrates absolute trust, and absolute trust in me attracts swift manifestation. This anticipated gratitude acts as supernatural fuel. It accelerates processes, intensifies manifestations, multiplies results. Because gratitude is one of the most powerful spiritual forces in existence. It opens doors, removes obstacles, activates angels, frees resources. And when it's gratitude for something you don't yet fully see, its power is multiplied exponentially. Don't wait to see before giving thanks. Reverse the order. Give thanks first, manifest later, because this is how the laws of my kingdom work. You don't see and then believe. You believe first, and therefore you see later. You don't receive and then have faith. You have faith first, and therefore you receive later. It's a complete reversal of human logic. But this is how the supernatural works. And if you want supernatural results, you must operate according to supernatural laws. Give thanks for your faith before the full evidence. This activates something incredibly powerful in heaven. Angels receive the green light. Resources are released. Doors are opened. Processes are accelerated. Because your gratitude in advance is a vote of confidence in me. And I tremendously honor those who trust me in this radical way. In the coming days, you'll begin to notice changes. Don't expect everything to change all at once. Don't expect to wake up tomorrow and find your life completely transformed overnight. While I can do this, and sometimes I do, in most cases I prefer progressive manifestations, because gradual changes are more sustainable, they are more deeply integrated, they are more fully appreciated. So pay attention, stay alert, observe carefully. Some signs will be small, so small that you could easily miss them if you weren't paying attention, so subtle that you could dismiss them as coincidence if you didn't understand their meaning. But these small signs are extremely important. They're like the first drops of rain that announce an approaching storm. They're like tiny cracks in the wall before it collapses completely. They're reliable indicators of massive movement happening behind the scenes. Perhaps it's a peace you've never had before. You wake up in the morning and realize that your usual anxiety is gone. You face a stressful situation and notice that your reaction was different than usual. You think about that problem that always kept you awake at night and discover that it no longer provokes the same dread. It's a subtle peace, not blatant, but real. And this peace didn't come from changed circumstances. It came from me. It's the first sign that my touch is at work in your mind. Maybe it's renewed energy. For weeks or months, you felt constantly tired. You dragged yourself through the day without vitality. Every task seemed like a Herculean effort. But suddenly, you realize you have more energy. You can do things that used to exhaust you. You wake up less tired. You sleep better. This energy doesn't come from a changed diet or new exercise. It comes from the inner restoration I'm undergoing. It's a sign that healing is flowing through your being. Perhaps it's a hopeful thought replacing dark thoughts. For so long, your mind has been dominated by negative narratives. Everything you thought about your future was bleak. Every projection was pessimistic. Every scenario was catastrophic. But now, a different thought emerges. A positive possibility appears in your mind. A small but genuine hope begins to sprout. Don't force this thought. You don't manufacture this hope. It simply appears. It is my spirit planting seeds of faith where there was soil of despair. Don't dismiss these small changes as insignificant. Don't tell yourself it's nothing. Don't minimize what's happening. Because although the signs seem small on the surface, They represent enormous changes in the foundation. It's like engineers observing tiny cracks in dams. To laymen, they seem insignificant. To experts, they are critical signs of massive tectonic movements occurring deep within. These are the first signs of a spiritual earthquake taking place. Earthquakes don't begin with everything collapsing simultaneously. They begin with small tremors, with subtle vibrations, with almost imperceptible movements. But these small tremors indicate that tectonic plates are shifting, that immense forces are being unleashed. That massive change is underway. These are the signs you will notice, small in appearance, monumental in meaning. They are the tip of the iceberg. Icebergs reveal only a small fraction of their mass above water. Most remain submerged, invisible, but no less real. And what you see on the surface tells you that there is enormity hidden below. The same goes for the signs of your miracle. The small piece you feel is the tip of the iceberg of total restoration that is happening. The renewed energy is a visible fraction of the complete healing that is taking place. Hopeful thinking is a sign of a completely new mindset that is being established. If you're already noticing some small sign right now, as you listen to this, leave your like as confirmation that the miracle has begun. Beneath the surface, there is a massive movement that will soon come fully into the open. There is reconstruction taking place on levels you cannot yet see. There is restoration operating in dimensions your natural eyes cannot reach. There is renewal being processed in deep layers of your being. And all this that is happening invisibly will soon become visibly obvious. What is subterranean will emerge. What is hidden will be revealed. What is secret will become manifest. Celebrate every small victory. Don't wait for the final victory to begin celebrating. Celebrate the small advances. Be thankful for the small changes. Rejoice in the small signs, because early celebration accelerates complete manifestation. Gratitude for crumbs attracts the whole loaf. Joy for the first fruits multiplies the total harvest. It is a principle of my kingdom that he who is faithful in little receives much, because every small sign is concrete evidence that the great miracle is unfolding. They are not separate things. They are parts of the same process. Small peace and complete healing are part of the same miracle. Renewed energy and total restoration are aspects of the same work. Hopeful thinking and a complete transformation of mindset are stages of the same journey. So when you see the small, you know the big is coming. When you taste the sample, you know the complete product is on its way. Share your testimony. This is one of the most important instructions I'll give you, and I know it may seem strange, it may seem premature, because testimony is usually something you share after the miracle has fully manifested, after the story has a visible, happy ending, after you can show concrete evidence. But I'm teaching you a different principle, a principle that multiplies manifestations, a principle that accelerates miracle. Don't wait for everything to be perfect to speak about what I've done. If you wait for perfection, you'll never speak, because there will always be something not yet fully manifested. There will always be an area still in process. There will always be an aspect still being worked on. And while you wait for perfection, you silence your testimony, and silenced testimony has no power. It doesn't release faith. It doesn't inspire others. It doesn't multiply blessings. You begin to testify now, before you see everything manifested, before you have irrefutable proof, before you can show unquestionable evidence. Testify by faith. Testify to what I said, even if you don't yet fully see what I promised. Testify to the heavenly decree, even if the earthly manifestation is still in progress, because the testimony of faith has power that the testimony of sight does not. Tell someone you trust. It doesn't have to be in front of a crowd. It doesn't have to be on public social media. It doesn't have to be a bombastic announcement to everyone you know. Start with one person, someone you trust, someone who loves you, someone who won't mock your faith. It could be a close friend. It could be a family member. It could be a fellow believer. But choose someone and share. It says exactly this: God spoke to me tonight, a clear and direct statement. It wasn't a vague impression. It wasn't a passing feeling. It wasn't a momentary emotion. God spoke personally, specifically to me. This statement establishes that there was a real encounter, that there was divine communication, that something happened in the spiritual realm that changed your reality. He promised me a miracle. Specificity matters. It wasn't generic comfort. It wasn't abstract encouragement. It was a concrete promise, a specific miracle, a supernatural intervention targeted to your particular need. When you declare this verbally, you are anchoring the promise in reality. You are giving substance to what is still invisible. You are materializing in the natural realm what was decreed in the spiritual realm. And I believe I will receive it. Future tense, but certainly present. I don't expect to perhaps receive it. I don't possibly desire to receive it. I will receive it. It's a declaration of certainty. It's an affirmation of faith. It's a position of absolute trust. And when you declare this to another person, you're not just informing. You're prophesying. You're decreeing. You're establishing in the natural world what has already been established in the spiritual world. This verbal declaration has power, a power that a mental declaration lacks, because there's something that happens when the word leaves your mouth that doesn't happen when it remains only in your head. Faith that remains trapped inside you doesn't move mountains. Faith that is publicly declared removes obstacles. Confessed faith is activated faith. Verbalized faith is empowered faith. Establish your faith publicly. It leaves the private sphere. It ceases to be just between you and me. It becomes a public testimony. And when your faith becomes public, something changes. There is a greater commitment. There is an assumed responsibility. There is a line drawn. There is a bridge burned behind you. There is no more room for silent retreat. You have declared publicly. Now you walk toward what you declared. Share this video now with someone who also needs a miracle. When you bring hope to others, I multiply your own manifestation exponentially. When you declare with your mouth what you believe in your heart, something is activated in the spiritual world. Angels who were on standby receive orders to act. Resources that were held back are released. Doors that were ajar are flung open. Processes that were slow are accelerated. Because your verbal confession is a trigger that sets off celestial mechanisms. It is a key that turns spiritual locks. It is a code that activates divine programs. It accelerates manifestation in the natural world. What would take 6 months can happen in 3. What would take a year can manifest in weeks. Not because you've changed my plans, but because your declared faith cooperates with my purposes in a way that accelerates processes. It's like the wind pushing a sailboat in the direction it was already heading. It doesn't change the destination, but accelerates the arrival. It's not arrogance. You're not being presumptuous. You're not being inappropriately bold. It's genuine faith. It's grounded trust. It's assurance based on my word, not your imagination. Arrogance would be declaring what you've decided. Faith is declaring what I've decreed. There's a huge difference between the two. It's not presumption. Presumption would be assuming things I didn't say, inventing promises I didn't make, claiming blessings I didn't bestow. But when you declare what I truly told you, when you testify to what I truly decreed, when you share what I genuinely promised, that's not presumption, it's obedience, it's faithfulness. It's partnership with my purposes. It's planting a flag in the promised territory before seeing it completely conquered, like Joshua marching around Jericho before the walls fell, like David declaring victory over Goliath before the stone hit, like the disciples preaching resurrection while there were still guards at the tomb. It's claiming by faith what cannot yet be fully seen, and this prophetic claim has creative power that materializes what it declares. Now, I want this miracle not to be just an isolated event, but the beginning of an ongoing supernatural life, because I didn't rescue you from one crisis only to leave you alone until the next. I didn't heal you today only to abandon you tomorrow. I don't provide now only to leave you wanting later. I want to be your constant God, your permanent provider, your continuous healer, your perpetual guide. And for that to happen, I need to teach you 3 fundamental keys. The first key is intimacy. This is the most important of all. Without it, the other 2 don't function properly. Without it, your spiritual life will be like a plant without roots. It may even seem alive for a while, but it will eventually wither. Intimacy with me is the foundation upon which everything else is built. It is the source from which everything else flows. It is the center around which everything else orbits. Don't seek me only when you need it. Many treat me like an emergency service. They only call when there's a crisis. They only cry out when there's a problem. They only seek me when there's an urgent need. And I respond. I always respond, because I'm good even when you're not. But that's not the relationship I want with you. I don't want to be just your first responder. I want to be your father. And parents don't interact with their children only in emergencies. Seek me because you love me, not out of self-interest, not out of need, not out of fear, but out of genuine love. Just as you seek a loved one simply for the pleasure of their company, just as you seek a close friend simply to chat without a specific agenda, just as you long to be close to those you love, even when there's no problem to solve. Seek me this way, for the joy of being in my presence, for the delight of knowing me better, for the pleasure of communion without transaction involved. 15 minutes a day of real conversation with me. It's not a heavy demand. It's not an unbearable burden. It's just 15 minutes out of 24 hours. 1% of your day. Everyone has that much time. The issue isn't availability of time, but priority of heart. And I guarantee you that if you give these 15 minutes a day to me, the rest of your day will be multiplied. These 15 minutes won't subtract from your productivity. They will multiply your effectiveness. Not empty rituals. I don't want you to come to me as one fulfilling a religious obligation, as one attending an unpleasant engagement, as one performing a boring but necessary task. That's not intimacy. It's religiosity, and religiosity tires me. It saddens me, because I created you for relationship, not ritual, for communion, not ceremony, for love, not legalism. No memorized prayers, no need for flowery words, no need for sophisticated theological vocabulary, no need for elaborate phrases you've heard others pray. Speak to me in your own words, simple, direct, honest. I prefer your authentic language to borrowed, pretty prayers. I prefer your clumsy sincerity to artificial eloquence. I prefer your open heart to impeccable religious performance. Genuine conversation, that's what I want. Real conversation like you would have with someone you love and trust completely. You talk. You tell me about your day. You share your joys. You vent your sorrows. You express your doubts. You reveal your fears. You confess your mistakes. You celebrate your victories. And I listen every word with undivided attention, with infinite love, without condemning judgment. Subscribe now to this channel where I release weekly encounters of deep intimacy with me through words that bring your heart closer to mine. And then I speak, and you listen, not necessarily with physical ears, but with spiritual ears. You hear my voice through thoughts that are not yours, through peace that has no logical origin, through convictions that arise suddenly, through scriptures that leap from the page, through circumstances that speak. I speak constantly. The question is, are you listening? In my presence is fullness of joy, not superficial joy that circumstances destroy, but profound joy that remains independent of external circumstances. Joy that springs from knowing you are connected to the source of all life, that you are safe in the arms of the Almighty, that you are loved by perfect love. This joy is not produced by things, it is produced by proximity. The closer you are to me, the more joy you experience. And miracles flow naturally from those who live close to me. You don't need to beg, you don't need to plead, you don't need to bargain. Miracles are a natural byproduct of intimacy, like fruit that grows naturally on a well-planted tree, like flowers that bloom spontaneously in a well-watered garden. Intimacy creates an environment where the supernatural becomes natural, where miracles become routine, where the impossible becomes expected. Intimacy is not a technique, it's a relationship. It's not a method, it's love. It's not a religious discipline, it's passionate communion. And when you establish genuine intimacy with me, everything else in your life falls into place. Problems that seemed insurmountable find solutions. Doors that were closed open. Provision that was missing appears. Healing that eluded us manifests itself, not by a magic formula, but by proximity to the one who has all power. The second key is obedience. This works in conjunction with intimacy, because in intimacy I speak to you, and in obedience you act according to what I have spoken. One without the other is incomplete. Intimacy without obedience is a sterile relationship. Obedience without intimacy is dead legalism. But intimacy that produces obedience generates abundant life. And obedience that flows from intimacy pleases my heart deeply. When I tell you something, do it. It seems simple, and it is, but simplicity doesn't mean easy, because often what I tell you won't make immediate sense to your logic. It won't fit into your plans. It won't seem safe according to your calculations, and that's where obedience is tested. Anyone obeys when the order makes sense, when the benefits are obvious, when the risks are minimal. But true obedience happens precisely when none of these apply, even without fully understanding why. I don't owe you explanations for every direction I give, not because it's arbitrary or capricious, but because often the full explanation will only make sense later, after you've obeyed, after you've seen the result, after the story has unfolded. If you waited to understand everything before obeying, you would miss countless blessings that lie on the other side of seemingly meaningless obedience. Let me give you practical examples so this doesn't seem abstract. When I tell you to forgive that person, even if they haven't apologized, even if they don't deserve forgiveness, even if everything in you screams for justice, forgive. Don't wait until you feel the urge to forgive. Don't wait until they repent first. Don't condition your forgiveness on their behavior. Simply forgive because I commanded you to. And watch as invisible chains break, as weights you carried fall away, as doors that were closed open. When I tell you to give, whether it's money you don't have, time you don't have, or resources you need, give. Even if your financial logic screams madness, even if your schedule is packed, even if your need is genuine, give what I ask of you, because I will never tell you to give something I don't plan to replace multiplied. I will never leave you wanting for obeying my voice. Every seed planted in obedience produces an abundant harvest. When I tell you to go, even if the destination seems strange, even if the mission seems pointless, even if the path seems inconvenient, go. For often I send you to places not for what you will do there, but for who you will meet. Not for what you will say, but for what you will hear. Not for what appears to be the purpose, but for what my plan truly is. Obedience in going where I send you places you in a place of blessing you would never find by your own plans. Obedience opens doors that no human key can open. There are doors that don't respond to money. They don't respond to knowledge. They don't respond to relationships. They don't respond to talent. They only respond to obedience. These are divine doors that only open when they detect the scent of genuine submission to my will. And on the other side of these doors lie the greatest blessings, the greatest miracles, the most profound realizations. Write "I obey" in the comments now. This statement establishes commitment and attracts clear divine guidance for all your steps. Obedience activates blessings waiting to be released. There are blessings bearing your name already prepared in the heavenly storehouses, but they have an activation code, and that code is obedience. As long as you disobey, even in seemingly small areas, these blessings remain withheld, not because I am stingy, but because a blessing given to someone who doesn't obey becomes a curse. It's like giving a car to someone without a license. The gift is good, but the recipient is not prepared to handle it properly. It's not blind obedience. Some people teach obedience as irrational submission to fallible human authorities. That's not what I ask. I don't ask you to turn off your brain. I don't ask you to ignore legitimate warning signs. I don't ask you to follow every voice that speaks. I ask you to obey my voice specifically, and my voice will never lead you to sin. It will never command you to do evil. It will never direct you to destruction. It's intelligent trust, because even though you don't understand everything I ask of you, you know who's asking it. Even though you don't see where the path leads, you know who's guiding you. Even though you don't understand the immediate purpose, you trust the planner. It's not blindness, it's vision from another dimension. It's seeing not with natural eyes, but with eyes of faith. It's understanding that the one who loves you perfectly will never lead you wrong, because I see what you don't. I see the accident you avoid when you obey my direction to go a different way. I see the wrong person you escape when you obey my warning not to pursue that relationship. I see the trap you avoid when you obey my command to refuse that seemingly good opportunity. I see everything, past, present, and future, and I guide you through this total knowledge. I know the future you don't. I know what will happen tomorrow. I know who will meet you next week. I know what door will open next month. And I position you strategically through commands that seem random today, but tomorrow will reveal perfect wisdom. Every direction I give has purpose. Every order I issue has reason, even when you don't see it. And I direct you for your own good, never for your harm, never for your detriment. Always, absolutely always, for your ultimate benefit. Even when it temporarily seems painful, even when it initially seems costly, the end result will always be for your good, because I love you, and genuine love always seeks the best for the beloved. The third key is generosity. This completes the trio of foundations for continuous supernatural life. Intimacy connects you with me. Obedience aligns you with my will, and generosity keeps you in the flow of my abundant provision. Without this third key, the first two eventually become sterile. Because a relationship with me that doesn't produce love for others isn't a genuine relationship. It's spiritual selfishness disguised as piety. When I prosper you, prosper others. Don't hoard everything for yourself. Don't build bigger barns just to store more. Don't live as if you were the final destination of my blessings, because you aren't. You are a channel. You are a river. You are a conductor. My blessings flow through you to reach others. When you prosper and share prosperity, you keep the flow active. When you prosper and selfishly hoard everything, you block the flow and eventually dry up. When I heal you, pray for the sick. Don't be content with your own health while others suffer. Use your healing as a testimony. Use your miracle as a point of contact for the faith of others. Lay hands on the sick. Declare over them what I have declared over you. Because when you share healing, you keep your own health protected. There is something powerful that happens when those who have been healed become instruments of healing for others. When I give to you, give to those in need. Don't wait to have a lot before you start giving. Don't condition generosity on reaching a certain level of wealth first. Give from what you have now. Give from what little you have. Give from abundance, if it is abundance you possess. But give always, consistently, generously, because giving isn't about quantity. It's about the attitude of the heart, and a generous heart attracts divine provision like a magnet attracts iron. My blessings are rivers, not ponds. This is a crucial distinction that few understand. Rivers are bodies of water in constant movement. Water flows in, water flows out, always flowing, always renewing, always fresh. Ponds are bodies of stagnant water. Water flows in but doesn't flow out. It remains stagnant, it ages, it rots, it becomes unfit for consumption. The same is true of spiritual blessings. Rivers flow and stay fresh, because movement prevents decay. Constant flow brings oxygen, continuous renewal maintains purity, and life thrives in flowing waters. Fish swim in rivers, plants grow along riverbanks, communities settle near rivers, because where there is flow, there is life. Where there is movement, there is vitality. Where there is generosity, there is growing prosperity. Ponds stagnate and rot. This is because a lack of flow allows impurities to accumulate. Stagnant water creates a breeding ground for bacteria. Stagnation produces a foul odor. Nothing survives in a pond for long, and many believers are like ponds. They receive blessings but don't share them. They hoard resources but don't distribute them. They hoard everything for themselves, and eventually their blessings rot. Their joys turn bitter. Their provisions become insufficient, because they were not designed to retain, but to flow. Be a river. This is my simple yet profound command. Live with open hands, not closed fists. Receive with one hand and give with the other. Let my blessings flow through you. Don't hold them back. Don't hoard them selfishly. Don't live with a mindset of scarcity, even when you prosper. Live with a mindset of abundance, knowing that the more you give, the more you receive. The more you share, the more is given to you. The more you bless, the more you are blessed. If you commit to being a river and not a lagoon, let your enjoyment be a pact of generosity with me. I promise to provide everything while you are a channel. Give freely because you have freely received. Everything you have came from me. I gave you your talent. I created your opportunity. I sustain your health. I endowed your intelligence. You produced nothing alone. Everything is grace. Everything is a gift. So give freely what you have freely received. Don't be stingy with what was never truly yours. Be generous with what has always been mine, flowing through you. Bless others because I have blessed you. Speak words of encouragement, offer practical help, share tangible resources, give your time, give your attention, give your love, not just your money, but your whole being. Because true generosity isn't just financial, It's emotional, it's temporal, it's relational. It's giving of yourself, not just your possessions. Don't hoard everything for yourself, but be a channel of provision for others. God doesn't bless you just for your comfort. He blesses you to be a blessing. He doesn't heal you just for your relief. He heals you to be an instrument of healing. He doesn't prosper you just for your luxury. He prospers you to be a source of provision for others. Your blessing has a purpose greater than your individual well-being. It has a mission to reach others through you. Generosity creates a cycle of blessing. It is a spiritual law as reliable as a physical law. When you give, I give to you, not because you owe me anything, but because you established a flow. You opened a channel. You created space for more to enter because what was there left. When you bless, I bless you, because a blessing that leaves you creates a vacuum that sucks a greater blessing back in. When you sow, I multiply your harvest, because this is the law of spiritual agriculture. A seed planted returns multiplied. It's a spiritual law that never fails. Never. Your timing may fail. Your form may fail, but it never fails in essence. He who always gives receives. He who sows always reaps. He who blesses is always blessed. It may not be immediate. It may not be from the source you expected, but it will come with absolute certainty. There is a powerful scripture I want to engrave on your heart right now. These are words spoken by my son Jesus that perfectly summarize the battle that has been taking place in your life. They are written in John chapter 10, verse 10. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. The enemy came specifically to destroy your life. It's not a coincidence. It's not bad luck. It was a systematic attack. He came to steal your peace. He came to kill your dreams. He came to destroy your health, your finances, your relationships, your hope. This has always been his plan, complete devastation. But I came to give abundant life, not a miserable life of survival, not a life of just getting through another day. Abundant life, full life, life that overflows, life that exceeds expectations, not a life of lack, but a life of fullness, not a life of defeat, but a life of constant victory. This abundant life begins tonight with the miracle that descends from heaven, the miracle that has already been decreed. But it doesn't end here. This miracle isn't the end point. It's a starting point. It's not a destination. It's a portal. It's the inauguration of a new season. It's just the beginning of a journey of continuous abundance. A journey where miracles are not a rare exception. They are an expected normality. Where provision is not a surprise. It is an established pattern. Where victory is not an occasional stroke of luck. It is a permanent lifestyle. Write 7777 now in the comments. This prophetic number seals abundant life upon you permanently, according to John 10:10. This abundant life does not depend on external circumstances. It is not determined by the global economy. It is not limited by your education. It is not restricted by your age. It is not blocked by your past. Because it is life that flows from connection with me. It is life that springs from intimacy. It is life that multiplies through obedience. It is life that perpetuates itself through generosity. And this is the life I establish upon you now, not temporarily, permanently, not conditionally, unconditionally, not partially, completely. Abundant life in every area, in every aspect, in every dimension of your being. This is my promise. This is my decree. This is your new normal from this night onward. When the miracle fully manifests, the people around you will notice. They won't be able to ignore it. The transformation will be so evident that it will attract attention. Your family will notice, your friends will notice, even casual acquaintances will detect that something has drastically changed. They will see the change in you, not just in your external circumstances, but in yourself, in your countenance, in your peace, in your confidence. There will be something different in your eyes, something new in your voice, and this inner change will be as striking as any external change. They'll ask with genuine curiosity, "What happened to you? Why are you so different? How did you overcome that situation? Where did this sudden peace come from?" The questions will come from different people at different times, and in that moment, you'll have a golden opportunity. Testify to my power without fear. Do not be ashamed. Do not minimize what I did. Do not attribute to coincidence what was clearly divine intervention. Give glory where glory is due. Openly declare that it was God, that it was supernatural, that it was a miracle. Not with complicated religious words. Speak simply, speak clearly, use your own language. Authenticity communicates more than eloquence. Simplicity impacts more than sophistication. Simply telling your story honestly. It was impossible, but God made it possible. I was sick, but God healed me. I was broken, but God restored me. I have no other explanation except that He is real. He is good, and He works miracles. Share this video with someone now. You're laying the groundwork for your own testimony to come and free others from the same prison. When you bear this testimony with sincerity, something incredibly powerful happens. Your testimony releases faith in other hearts. Faith that was dormant awakens, because testimony is not theory. It is evidence. It is not philosophy. It is demonstration, and proof convinces where arguments fail. Your story opens doors of hope for those who are exactly where you were. For those going through the same crisis you faced, your story will be a bridge that connects their despair to the solution you found. Your miracle doesn't just bless you, it blesses dozens, perhaps hundreds, who will hear your testimony. Because miracles have a multiplier effect. One miracle generates faith that produces other miracles. That's why the enemy fought so hard against you. He knew that when you were freed, you would become a liberator for others. Tonight, mark a before and after in your story. There will be your life before the miracle and your life after the miracle. The difference will be so remarkable that you will be surprised when you look back in a few months. Not just in external circumstances, although these will change dramatically, but especially within yourself. In your trust in me, which was once shaky and now will be solid. In your understanding of my power, which was once theoretical and now will be experiential. In your certainty of my love, which was once questioned and now will be unquestionable. Because theory doesn't transform like experience does. Hearing about my power is one thing. Seeing my power at work in your life is entirely different. Because when you see what I am about to do, when you experience the magnitude of my intervention in your impossible situation, something deep will solidify in your spirit, a conviction that no argument can shake, a certainty that no future circumstance can destroy. You will know without a shadow of a doubt that I am real, not just a theological concept, not just a character from an old book, but a living God intervening in real lives. You will know that I love you, not a generic love for humanity, but a specific personal love directed at you. You will know that I am with you, not distantly observing, but presently acting, and you will know that I will never fail you, because whoever did it once will do it again, and this conviction will sustain you through everything that comes after. Because life will continue to have challenges, there will continue to be battles, there will continue to be difficult moments, but you will never again face anything with doubt in your heart about my faithfulness. You will never again question whether I care. You will never again wonder if I have the power to solve anything, because you will have seen it with your own eyes, experienced it with your own life, touched it with your own hands. The miracle will not be a story you heard from others. It will be your personal story, your untransferable testimony, your irrefutable proof that I am who I say I am and do what I promise to do. This night is a watershed moment. It's a turning point. It's a moment that will change the entire trajectory of your life. And years later, when you tell your story, you'll say, it was that night that everything changed. It was in that moment that God intervened. And I've never been the same since. We've reached a crucial point where I need to recap and consolidate everything that was decreed over your life tonight. Because powerful words have been spoken, irrevocable decrees have been established. What's done is done. What's decreed is decreed, and nothing can change that. Your case is closed in heaven. No longer under review, no longer pending, closed, completed, finalized. The file with your name has received a red approval stamp. It has been filed in the resolved cases section. Because there is nothing more to dispute. The judgment has been given, and it was entirely in your favor. Your sentence is victory in every area. In your health, a sentence of complete healing. In your finances, a sentence of abundant provision. In your relationships, a sentence of restoration. In your mind, a sentence of perfect peace. In your purpose, a sentence of clear revelation. In every area of your existence, victory has been decreed. Your miracle is assured and on its way. It's not a possibility, it's an absolute certainty. It has already left the heavenly storehouse. It has already traversed spiritual dimensions. It has already entered your territory, and it is approaching rapidly. Nothing in the universe can stop it because it bears the royal seal of the King of Kings. In the heavenly courts, there is no more discussion of your case. The accuser has been silenced. The divine gavel has fallen with supreme authority. The decree has been signed with indelible ink. The angels have already left with the order of execution, and they bring everything you need. Leave your like, sealing your final amen to everything that was decreed, and sign up to continue receiving words that will sustain this new life. This wasn't empty motivational talk. It was a prophetic decree with creative power. It was a heavenly judicial sentence with the force of eternal law. It was real supernatural intervention that changed your reality. In the spiritual world, things changed. And when things change in the spiritual, they inevitably manifest in the natural. And in the coming days, you will see concrete evidence. You won't need blind faith. You will have tangible proof, visible manifestations, measurable changes. For it is my nature to confirm my word with signs. Your life will never be the same after tonight. There is a before and an after, a turning point, and you are exactly at that point now, leaving the old, entering the new, and the new is glorious. My son, my daughter, we are reaching the end of this word, but not the end of our conversation. This is not farewell. This is not goodbye. This is see you soon, because I will be with you tomorrow when you wake. I will be with you in the days ahead as the miracle unfolds. I will be with you always, in every moment, in every breath, in every step. I will never leave you. This is the promise I make to you in this solemn moment. No matter what happens, no matter how difficult it gets, no matter how many storms come, no matter how many challenges arise, I will never abandon you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you, because I am not like men who make promises and don't keep them. I am not like people who say they love but then leave. This promise is not conditional. It does not depend on your future performance. It is not based on your ability to be perfect. It will not be cancelled if you fail. It will not be revoked if you stumble. It will not be nullified if you fall, because it is based not on you, but on me, not on your faithfulness, but on mine, not on your changeable character, but on my unchangeable character. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. I do not change with circumstances. I do not waver with emotions. I do not vary with the times. What I was, I have always been. What I am, I will always be. And what I have always been and always will be is faithful. Faithful to my promises. Faithful to my children. Faithful even when you are unfaithful. Write Amen in the comments now. This Amen seals the eternal covenant between us and confirms that you believe in my abiding presence with you. I promise to be with you until the end, not just until the miracle manifests, not just until the crisis passes, not just until you're well again, but until the end of your earthly journey, and even after that, in eternity. Because my love for you has no expiration date, my fidelity to you has no time limit, my commitment to you has no termination clause. So go in peace, rest in confidence, sleep soundly, because the God who decreed your miracle tonight is the same God who will be with you tomorrow morning, the same God who will sustain you next week, the same God who will guide you for the rest of your life. I am your Father, and true fathers never abandon their children, never, ever, under any circumstances. But there is something else that heaven has commanded me to reveal to you at this moment, something profound that has been hidden, waiting for this very moment. Something that will completely change your understanding of what is happening right now in your life. Because as you listened to these words, as your heart opened, as your faith grew, I was preparing the ground for even greater revelation. What I have told you so far is a powerful foundation, but there is a complete structure that needs to be built upon this foundation. There are dimensions of your miracle that I have not yet fully revealed to you. My plans for you are greater than you've been able to grasp thus far, more comprehensive, more profound, more transformative. And I need you to keep listening carefully. I need you not to turn away yet, because the next word connects directly to everything I've just decreed. And together they form the complete picture of your total restoration. There is movement happening in the heavenly courts right now, movement that goes beyond what I have already revealed to you. There are decrees being prepared that complement what has already been established. There are angels receiving additional instructions about your life, and I need you to hear it all, to receive it all, to grasp the full scope of what I am doing, because what you're about to hear isn't repetition, it's progressive revelation. It's not redundancy, it's unfolding, layer upon layer, depth upon depth. And each additional word you hear adds power to what's already been decreed. It multiplies manifestation, it accelerates results. So stay alert, open your heart even wider, because what comes now is as powerful as what you've already heard, perhaps more so, because it will build on the foundation already laid tonight. And when it finishes revealing everything to you, when the full word has been given, your transformation will be total, complete, irreversible.